So apparently, there are more and more gigafactories popping up now. The latest reports indicate that the next possible gigafactory could be built in the UK. And what's actually the status of Giga Berlin? And what? A Tesla design center also in Berlin. And what about the central US Terafactory? Will it be Austin or Tulsa? And the other existing gigafactories are now all back on track for production.
Then there's a lot of talk lately about vehicle-to-grid coming to Teslas. And the Tesla stock is back at really high levels. And other automakers meanwhile? Well, unsurprisingly, they are not doing so well. Then we also have some news on the US Midwest hyperloop and a lot of news on air taxis and driverless delivery bots. A lot to talk about as always, so stay tuned.
Just when we thought that there are so many giga or tera factories popping up these days that we are beginning to lose oversight, a new rumor adds even more confusion, namely the possibility of a gigafactory being built in the UK. It's reported that the UK government is searching for a 4 million square foot site to accommodate a new production facility for Tesla. A spokesperson from the Department for International Trade told Property Week that, quote, the government is working with industry to help make the UK the location of choice to develop world-class electric vehicle technologies. Now, what kind of factory it will be is still super vague, but with Giga Berlin that will turn out Model 3s, Model Ys, and possibly even Tesla Semis and smaller Cybertrucks for Europe, the UK Gigafactory might actually focus on Tesla power packs, as well as research and development. This is just our theory, so please take it with a grain of salt.
And Giga Berlin is actually starting to look better and better, despite our worries of the infamous German bureaucracy. It seems that Tesla has now received a permit to start grounding work at the site, and we can even see some progress happening. This is really surprising to us, but hey, we are really happy to be surprised, you know? So apparently Giga Berlin is again on track for an opening by summer 2021. And it seems that Tesla is now also searching for a location for their future Europe Design and Development Center. Tesla has apparently acquired a structure called the gasometer, an old structure over 100 years old that could serve as the base for Tesla's future design center. Now, regarding the location of the future central US Terafactory, we know that we have two remaining contenders, namely Austin, Texas and Tulsa in Oklahoma. Now, we personally would like Tulsa to win the competition because they put in a lot of effort and displayed a lot of creativity in trying to win over Tesla. First, they pointed out that they have a big field for Tesla, and they also offered huge tax incentives. And then they even remodeled an old statue to resemble Elon Musk. It's an old oil driller statue. Quite ironic, right? And then the governor of Oklahoma, Kevin Stitt, apparently talked to Elon at Kennedy Space Center after the launch of Demo 2 had been postponed. So Tulsa and Oklahoma are really going all in, trying to win over Tesla, and this, in our opinion, deserves a lot of respect. And Austin already has so many tech companies, and the city is getting expensive enough as it is. We therefore would like Tulsa to win the bid, but hey, it's not for us to decide, and we will be happy either way. Because you know, Cybertruck will be pumped out from that factory, and this is exciting either way. Meanwhile, the Model Y expansion for Giga Shanghai is going full speed, to be completed by year's end, with Model Y production starting in early 2021, which will be absolutely crazy, because demand for Model Y in China will be absolutely through the roof. And currently Giga Shanghai is running at almost 4,000 Model 3s being produced per week.
And still on the topic of Tesla, lately there are rumors going around that on Tesla's upcoming battery and drivetrain day, vehicle-to-grid will be announced. And many current Tesla cars might even be already supporting it. Smart grid is really a very important development to make the electric grid more stable, to even out overcapacity from renewables, and even to earn Tesla owners some money, because the cars would then take on extra electricity during the peak times and give it back to the grid during off hours. It's rumored that Tesla will have an auto bidder software that will perform everything automatically. So yes, you heard that right. Your car will earn you money while it's plugged in. Add to this the potential of earning 30K per year with the robo-taxi function. A Tesla will become a really nice investment. So Tesla is doing really fine, despite this brutal global crisis. And this, of course, also shows in the very high Tesla stock price that is now trading over $800 again. We, by the way, completely agree with ARK Invest. They are super smart, especially Catherine Wood. She completely understands Tesla and its disruptive potential. That's why she's giving Tesla a long-term target of many thousands of dollars. And we completely agree. So our target for Tesla is around $10,000 in 2030. And that's even our most conservative prediction. And no, we are not financial advisors. So as always, please do your own investment research. So please don't take anything we said as investment advice. We always have to say these stupid sentences. You know, lawyers and shit. And what about the other car makers? Well, you guessed it right. They are doing not so fine. Daimler only managed to sell 700 of their once-deemed Tesla killer EQC. 700! And they will have to cut 10,000 jobs until 2022, as recent reports show. Oh, and BMW, they will have to cut 5,000 jobs. And now everyone is trying to blame the crisis.
But let's look at the date of the headlines. September 2019. Oh, November 2019. Well. It seems that the gasoline and diesel car makers were in trouble even before COVID started. And yes, GM also. Look here, February 2020. And now, of course, they all try to blame the crisis. Assholes. Yes, assholes. Because they continued selling their inferior products, their stinking diesel and gasoline cars, were even caught cheating time and time again, and now try not to blame their own incompetence and stupidity, but no, external circumstances are at fault. You know, it's always the other's fault. It's always the other's fault. It certainly doesn't have anything to do with them not innovating for decades. It certainly doesn't have anything to do with them failing on electric cars. It certainly doesn't have anything to do with them selling us the old, same, boring looking cars since decades now with the same boring, old-fashioned design. No, certainly not. No, it's the crisis. Alone the crisis is at fault. Well then, how come Tesla is growing despite the crisis, By the way, as the only car maker worldwide, the only one. Well, because maybe they are the only ones who innovated, who have innovative products which the people nowadays want more and more. It could maybe, just maybe, have something to do with that, Daimler, GM and BMW? At least it appears that VW has learned their lesson and they are trying to go all in on electric cars. Now they too have huge problems, but at least compared to other legacy car makers, they are trying to shift massively towards electric cars. That is already something. Even Toyota has finally realized that electric cars, not hydrogen cars, are the future. Took them a sweet long time to realize it, by the way. This, friends, this crisis is a Darwinian survival event. The companies that survive this and adapt will get out of this stronger than before. And who will be the strongest? Well, you probably know the answer already.
This crisis will accelerate Tesla's rise to become the largest car maker in the world. Nay, actually one of the largest companies. Because Tesla is not only a car maker, and car companies that don't adapt will die. That's how simple it is. So it appears more and more that the current crisis is actually accelerating the adoption of electric cars, as we can see impressively with Tesla. And it also accelerates, as we have already predicted in this video here, by the way, the adoption of automated delivery drones and bots, because suddenly it becomes apparent that automation can have huge benefits in times of crisis. For example, we have Zipline and Novant Health launching long-range drone deliveries in North Carolina. Zipline's drones will transfer critical medical supplies from Huntersville Medical Center to a Novant Logistics Center. This is, by the way, a huge regulatory step. This marks the first time the FAA has approved long-range drone logistics flights. Novant Health's operation is also the first to be cleared for Class D airspace, where the FAA actively manages all air traffic. This is a huge regulatory hurdle, which will greatly accelerate the adoption of long-range drone deliveries. And of course, further down the road, also the adoption of air taxis. Then we have Nuro. You know, this cute little driverless delivery bot we have already mentioned a few times, partnering with CVS on autonomous prescription deliveries. So this is also a medical-related project and will greatly accelerate the adoption of driverless delivery bots. So we are really happy about this development, because they are a huge part of our overall technological advancements. Because we often warned that else China will become the leader in autonomous drones and delivery bots, as well as air taxis. And we wouldn't like that. We want the West to keep up. And in China, by the way, the EHang air taxis have now been approved for heavy lift air transport, meaning the delivery of goods at a weight of up to 150 kilograms. And we also remember that only recently, EHang was approved to build the first commercial air taxi center in Hezhou, China, to carry around tourists on sightseeing trips. So air taxis are happening now as we speak. And the current global crisis is just accelerating this progress even more.
And then of course we also have to talk about our other favorite future technology, namely of course the hyperloop. By the way, if you are a hyperloop skeptic, we made a video trying to debunk some misconceptions and fake news regarding hyperloop. You can watch the video right here. And now, just last week, the results of the 2020 Hyperloop feasibility study by the Mid-Ohio Regional Planning Commission have been released, link in the description. The study is really worth a read, especially for Hyperloop skeptics. The study found that the Hyperloop would ease traffic congestion by nearly 2 billion cars, cut commercial truck time on the road by 450 million hours, reduce CO2 emissions by almost 2.5 million metric tons, along with $300 billion in overall economic benefits. You know, this is always what naysayers kind of forget, and those who always rant against new technologies, namely that those evil new technologies also create many new jobs, increase wealth, and increase prosperity for the whole of society. You know? So what do you say to all these gigafactories popping up? It's insane, right?
We also need one here in Munich.
Oh man, that would be nice.
So do you agree with us that the legacy car makers are now using the crisis as an excuse for them having slept on electric cars?
So you just watched the JS Disruption Report, and in case you are interested in Hyperloop, we made a special Hyperloop video which you can watch right here.
So thanks for watching, and I'd say on to the future!